Welcome to Face-to-Face. We have a very special guest today, Lakshita Motwani, and we are going to talk to her about synchronized swimming. This is one of the sports which combines aerobics, athletics, artistry, dance, breathing, and everything you can think of, right?
Yeah.
So Lakshita is also, she has been practicing synchronized swimming since she was 6 years old. And this year, her team won a gold medal at an international synchronized championship. She has also won many more awards and games. And we are going to talk to her today how she got interested in synchronized swimming and what her plans are. Lakshita, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
And congratulations for all your wins.
Thank you.
And the hard work you do. So let's first start with, let's talk about your latest victory.
No, in Greensboro, North Carolina.
In North Carolina, okay.
So this year, I had the opportunity to go to the U.S. Open Synchronized Swimming Championship with my club team, which is an opportunity that not a lot of club teams get. And we went and we competed in the junior division, which is like younger athletes division, in our technical team routine, and we came out with a gold in that. And then we competed in the senior category for our free routine and for our combo, which is older age groups and also international teams. And in our combo, we came in third, just behind the Japanese national team and the Hungarian national team.
Excellent. Now, I want to start in the very beginning, since you started synchronized swimming. Actually, many of our viewers may not know much about synchronized swimming. So let's first talk about what is synchronized swimming and what are some of the rules for the game.
So synchronized swimming is a sport where it combines athletics, dance, artistic impression, and all of these elements into a choreographed routine in the water, performed by, it can be a soloist, a duet, a team of 8, or a team of 10. Mm-hmm. And the athletes are judged on the execution of the routine, so how they perform the moves with what accuracy and height, and they're judged on artistic impressions, so our ability to tell a story, our face, our performance value, and the difficulty, which is the content and quality of the routine itself. And we perform things above the water, we perform moves under the water, upside down, holding our breath for a long time. We also perform lifts where we throw other athletes out of the water, and we are not allowed to touch the bottom of the pool when we do anything. That's a major penalty if we do. So everything in synchronized swimming is done using purely body strength and muscle, and never the bottom of the pool.
So it's amazing that all the list you gave, that it touches almost every aspect of oneself, right?
Definitely, yes.
Sure. So you started to learn this synchronized swimming when you were 6-year-old?
Yes.
So how that happened?
So at the time I was in both dance and gymnastics and swimming, and it was a lot and I loved it all. And then I saw the Olympics in 2008. I watched them on TV and I was very hooked. I thought it was extremely interesting because it combined everything that I loved. It combined the dancing, the gymnastics, and the swimming all into one sport. And I was very intrigued by that. So I talked to my parents and I asked them if I could try it. And my local YMCA had an introductory class. So I started there and I've been there ever since.
So I just wanted to clarify this. So you ask your parents, not the parents ask you that this is...
Well, my parents put the TV on.
TV. Okay,
and
okay.
They said, my dad...
some grades should go to them.
Yeah,
then.
My dad told me, you should watch this, like maybe you'll like it. It's very similar to all these things that you're doing. And I watched it and I fell in love with it. So I wanted to join.
So now since age of 6, like if you give me some sort of a routine that how the last 15 years or 16 years have evolved in your life, how it has changed your life.
So when I was 6 years old, like I said, I joined an introductory class. So it was very, very, very beginner. I learned, the basic skills, how to do things, and then I had the option if I wanted to continue or not. And I stuck with it, and I went to the intermediate level the following year, and I was on the youngest team, which was for 10 and under year olds. And I stayed there for a couple of years, and then I moved up to the 11-12 category. And then my fourth year, I was moved up to the age group level, which is the advanced level. And this was the year that I went to my first national level championship. We went to Riverside, California, and it was a very interesting experience to see all the clubs and teams from everywhere in the country. I thought that was a very unique experience for me. And then I stayed there, and then I moved up into the 13-15 age category, and that was through my freshman year of high school. I was there. And then my sophomore year, I was supposed to be on the 16 to 17 age group team, but I had an injury, so I had to take sophomore year off because I had to have a couple of surgeries on my knees. And then junior year, which was last year, I went back and I joined the 16 to 17 age group team. And then this year I was moved up into the junior age division team, which was the team that got to go to the international level competition.
So now, since already you have been to the international level competition, you have won, and as your journey started with watching Olympics, do you have, are you planning to try there?
So I'm not on the U.S. national team that's currently training for the Olympics, and at this point, the university that I'm going to next year does not offer synchronized swimming. It's not a program that they have. I don't really know what the future holds for me with synchronized swimming. I may decide that I miss it a lot and I can come back to my club and swim if I want to, or I can start a club at my university. But as of now, I don't know that I will be continuing that at the moment in college.
Okay, but you have that dream to go to the Olympics?
I don't.
No, everybody has a dream. Why not? Or you?
I don't think I mean, I don't practically think I do at this point. I mean, was there a point? I mean, everybody at some point thinks about it, but I don't know that I do now. Okay. Practically, I think I'm very, very proud of how far I've come and however much I've achieved.
Absolutely.
So if that's what it was meant to be, then that's what it was.
And which university you are going to go and study what?
I'm going to the University of Texas at Austin next year, and I'm studying biology on the pre-med track.
Excellent. So now I want to take backwards is tell us about your daily routines, how many hours did you practice, what was requirement was to reach to this stage?
So at the peak of my swimming, which was this year, I would train about 4 hours a day.
4 hours a day?
4 hours, yes. Each practice was 4 hours long, and it would be 4 to 5 times per week at the coach's discretion. And then additional trainings as the coach decided, additional hours. She could make practices longer, shorter, as she needed to do whenever she felt the need. And we have a training camp every February vacation week where we basically train the whole week. So it's like 8-hour days, 7 to 8 hour practice days at the maximum every day. Endurance training, strength training. That's when we really get our routines to the absolute maximum level because we have our biggest competitions coming up soon after that.
Now, what you have learned as a person from synchronized swimming?
I've learned a lot. I've learned the value of sacrifice and how, the benefit of that is and what you can get from things like I've had to miss a lot of, birthday parties. I haven't been able to do anything that could be remotely dangerous that could cause me to get injured and not be able to swim. So I've learned a lot about the value of that because I've gotten so much out of the work that I've put into synchro. So I think obviously it was all worth it in the end. And I've learned perseverance and how things may not always go your way. Things may try to stop you from doing what you want. I had an injury. I didn't swim for a whole year and I came back.
So how did you get the injury? I'm just curious.
So I was born with a structural problem in my knee and it was aggravated the more and more swimming I was doing. So it had actually been bothering me for a few years and we'd tried physical therapy and we'd tried, other very conservative methods to fix it. But the doctor eventually said, if none of that is working, then we need to do surgery. We need to fix the structural issues. So my sophomore year, I took the year off and I had a surgery on my right knee and then a few months later a surgery on my left, and I was cleared to swim in August and I went back to swim in September.
So If I look at your routine, you didn't have time to do anything else, or did you find time to do?
I made the time to do some other things. I've been playing piano for since the third grade. I also coach outside of regular practice times. I've been coaching the younger athletes on our team.
So like the same synchronized swimming.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I work with the younger athletes. My junior year, I got a job. I work at Kumon as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I do that, and
So let me. This is the first time I'm interviewing a young coach. So tell me some of the coaching things which you really need to teach, and what students are required to have those skills.
So I work with a variety of ages of the girls on our team. I have worked with the youngest girls that are very, very new to the sport and they're just learning the basics. And I've worked with girls that have been in a couple of years longer. I think basically what it is using the experience that you have and the corrections that you've gotten in the past and using what you know and applying it to them. So if whatever they can fix and you know what they can fix and you can help them with, you share that. And it's about, especially with the younger girls, it's getting their basic foundation strong so that when they get older, they have that basic foundation already and it's strong and they don't have to worry about going back and relearning any of that later on. So they can just move on forward. Mm-hmm. And it's also about developing a love for the sport in them so that they want to continue and so that they understand that they can achieve however much they want to achieve. So it's about keeping them in that right mental state, and it's about developing a strong foundation.
So how important is this mental state in sports, like any sports?
As in any sport, one's mental state and one's mental strength plays a big role. There are always going to be things that happen that make you want to not continue, and it's all about taking that situation and turning it into something that motivates you rather than something that makes you want to quit. So for me, especially when I had my injury, I had to really, it was more of a mental block for me mm-hmm. deciding whether or not I should come back because I didn't want to disappoint myself or my team, and that was all. But in the end, you have to have that strength, you have to have that perseverance, that willingness to keep going. So I definitely think my mental strength has increased in mm-hmm. the last few years, especially in my ability to deal with the situations that I'm in my ability to understand things differently and see different perspectives, I think has definitely helped me in continuing and working.
And so what are your future plans after studies?
I'm on the pre-med track now, or I will be in the fall. So hopefully after that, I'd like to go to medical school, hopefully, and see where it goes from there.
And what about your siblings? You have siblings?
Yeah, I have a little sister. She's going to be a freshman in high school next year.
Was she interested in synchronized swimming or no?
Not really.
No.
She's more into music and art.
Music. Okay. So how did you get, my question to you, you saw the game on the TV screen and you were able to figure it out, the swimming and dance all together. And did you learn dance separately or it was?
Yeah, so at the time I was taking dance classes and I was taking gymnastics classes and I was doing swim lessons and I was doing all of that. And so the opportunity to do synchro was just to combine all of those things into one sport, which I've grown to love.
So now at this young age, you have accomplished so much. And what role your parents have to play in this?
Well, as with any athlete, I would not have been able to achieve anything that I have without their support. They've driven me to practices. They have driven me hours and hours to competitions. They have flown with me wherever I've had to go. They've traveled the country with me. My mom has come to almost every single competition that I've had. And she's been there whether or not she had to be. She's been there to watch, to support, and to help out in any way that she can. And just having that support and that understanding, because it is a big commitment, and it's not just, the commitment can't just come from me, it has to come from my whole family. So I would not have been able to do anything that I have without all of their support and help.
So when you get these medals, what goes through your head at that time?
Standing on the podium is a very different experience than anything I've ever gotten to have before. I think it's accumulation of all of that hard work and all those hours, and it's just something that you have that tells you that it was worth it, and it's a very different feeling that I'll cherish forever.
So now I'm sure that you win, also sometime you lose.
Yes.
And what happens at that moment?
It is disappointing when we have a major setback, but in the end, our coach reminds us of this. We have to be the bigger team. We have to understand that the work that we did and the way that we swim is all we can do. We can't control the numbers that the judges give us. We can't control the numbers that the judges give other people. We can't control the overall impression. We can only do what we can do. And understanding that is a key to it all. It's knowing that if you put in the work that you did, and that you whether or not you deserved what you didn't get or didn't, that the outcome is the outcome, and you should know that it's not your fault, whatever happened, I think is what.
Now, one last question as we come to the end towards for the interview is, what are the couple of things you have learned from your coaches?
I've learned so much from my coaches. I've learned, one of my coaches taught me to trust the process. So to know that you can only do so much at one point. And this was when I was just coming back from my injury and I was really struggling. And I was frustrated with myself for not being able to do everything that I used to be able to do. And she told me that you're putting in the work. You're doing everything you can possibly do. You have to give it time. You have to trust that everything we are making you do, all the training that we are putting you through, will get you to where you have to be, but you have to be patient and you have to give it time. And I was patient and I did give it time and I did get to where I had to be. So taking that, I remember that often, is trust the process. She's taught me to choose love, not fear, is how she said. And that's to not turn down any opportunity because you're afraid of what might happen if you take it on. It's to do it because you love it, and it's to do it because it will make you happy regardless. So it's to not be afraid and to go after what you want. And that's been
and those lessons can be used in day-to-day life as well,
right,
which I'm sure you
right,
use them as well.
Yes. And it's been, to think, and just like the way that your mind can shift what you do and how it can impact your actions, your feelings, and your thoughts, and the value of just a smile. Like, even if you're not happy, if you just smile, it triggers something that makes you happy, and it will improve your mood. And how you should do things not to please anybody else, but to please yourself. And all of these like little life lessons that we've learned along the way.
Please just yourself. I think that's a great lesson. Absolutely.
Yeah, do everything for yourself and for nobody else, and do it to prove that you can do it, and to prove that you are capable of reaching your goals, rather than no matter what anybody else will say, I think is a big takeaway that I've had.
Excellent. Lakshita, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it, and all the best for your future.
Thank you.
Excellent.